What is up, guys? Private Eye Russ here. Welcome to another episode of the Private Eye Russ Show. I am your host, owner, operator, full-service private investigation and consulting firm. Links will be in the description, company website. If you need to contact me, corporate investigations, corporate theft investigation, litigation support, criminal defense, whatever you might need, links will be in the description below. Hit me up on the contact page of the website or send me a direct message at X. So let's go ahead and get straight into this. And boy, oh boy, we got another good one in our continuing saga to explore women hiring and utilizing the services of male escorts. When men do it, it's evil. When women do it, well, we'll hear how they're celebrating her women's accomplishments and boldness. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
Well, George Goldberg knows what women want, so much so they pay him to meet their social, emotional and sexual needs. And the trend is on the rise. You see, George is a male escort and gets paid up to $1,200 for an intimate 2-hour session.
One of his clients, Kate, lost the love of her
$600
life
an hour.
last year, and in the grips of her loneliness and despair, she reached out to George. And he...
So $1,200 for 2 hours. Your Private Eye Russ is in the wrong business, guys. Anyways, keep going. Fair use.
He's not the only one. Kate interacts with 5 different escorts, and she's never felt more empowered.
5 different escorts, so
And
she got a
we welcome
lineup.
now George here in the studio, and also Kate.
My
who
man
joins us
George,
live
chilling.
from Brisbane. Good morning, Kate. George, so let's talk about this. Is fascinating for a number of reasons. I mean, you left the corporate world, somewhere you'd been for decades, and got into this business about a year ago at the age of 51. Explain to us and to the viewers, like, why the pivot, where that idea came from, and I guess why you thought you'd be good as a male escort.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, for the previous 10 years, I'd been dating extensively, and I think I loved meeting new people. And that gave me a really solid understanding of what women want and the chance to meet women from all walks of life. And so many of the women that I saw were wondering, where are all the good single men and the ones that understand how to treat a woman very well? A few of my female friends suggested that this line of work might be suitable for.
Okay, so George is not a bad-looking guy, but he's not Brad Pitt. So to the people that think that, you know, there's this thing, and I don't even know who started it. I can probably trace down who started it. Oh, you've got to be 6 foot tall, and you've got to be super good-looking, and you've got to be super jacked. He might be jacked. He doesn't look it. He's an okay-looking guy. He's 51 years old, and he's getting paid to lay pipe like a plumber. All right? He's not just doing that, but that's what he's doing essentially, right? And so stop obsessing with, okay, I don't look a certain way, I'm not a certain height, then I just give up and you get black-pilled. Stop listening to these people, man. Most of these people who put this junk out live in the internet world. They don't live in the real world. They're coming up with nonsense. And, you know, tall guys are like, oh, well, you know, if you're not as tall as me, then you have no chance whatsoever. Little person. Look, and you know, your height is not the determining factor. One of the biggest players I know is about 5'8", freckled face, redhead, balding. He's not fat, but he's not jacked. Dude from Bellevue, Florida. And this guy gets women like it's his job. All right? How does he do it? Dude has so much confidence, it's shocking. I'm a confident dude, but this guy's confidence is shocking, and he's just very matter of fact. He's kind of like me when if I talk to women, I'm not trying to tiptoe and tap dance for anybody. Al Joseph, whoever. I'm not doing all that. I'm not playing the games with people. I'm just really matter of fact and upfront and honest with women about what I want from them, and they have the opportunity to choose one way or the other. But you look at this guy. This guy is literally killing it, and he's balling. And he doesn't look like James Bond, but he's doing well. Why? He's got charm, probably funny, knows how to talk to women. All right, and he's probably obviously he's a very confident guy. All right, let's keep going. Fair use.
Me. And when I was made redundant a year ago, I thought, well, look, now's the chance to step into it. So it was fairly natural for me to go from dating into
corporate downsizing pushed him into being a male escort.
So you used to work in the energy sector. Now you're giving energy of a different kind.
Well, it's a different type of renewable energy, you might say. Yeah.
So take us through, what does a typical date or session look like? Like, how does it work?
Sure. Well, look, every client is different, of course, so it's always customised. So usually the client will reach out to me via my website or social media, and we'll have a phone conversation. I like to get a sense of how the communication flows, just to see if we're on the same page, if I can provide what they want. And so I'll ask them a whole range of questions. I'll get to understand a bit of their backstory, to understand what it is they're seeking from a connection with me. Then we'll organise the details and logistics of where to meet. In most cases, they're quite nervous because it's a really unusual thing for many women to do.
Yeah.
So we'll have a drink or a coffee and just get to know one another. And depending on what it is they're after, it might be just a social date or taking them for a long drive or something more intimate. So then it's really about just paying attention to what they're after. And I can elicit much of that on the phone call beforehand.
Hey, George, just quickly, it is a bold and probably ambitious claim to say, I know what women want. What do women want?
Well, first up, they want to feel safe. Online dating is a scary place for many people, and so they want to be made to feel really comfortable, to be listened to, and to be paid attention to what their needs are. So it's really not that difficult to get to the heart of what it is that women want, and to feel intimacy, because like so many people, they've been lacking intimacy for, in some cases, a decade or more.
Yeah, OK, well, let's bring Kate in here. Kate, having lost your partner, and we're very sorry to hear that, you were in a pretty vulnerable state.
Okay, so this is well, now she's not a John, she's a Jane, I guess you could call her. But does this happen a lot? It happens a lot more than people think. Typically, obviously, it's women that are well-to-do, that are making money. This happened a ton when I lived in Hollywood, in California. I knew several dudes that got paid to do what they did with women. Even I was approached about that. Back when I used to be good looking. Now I'm not so good looking. So nobody's gonna. Although actually, someone did kind of offer me a role recently. But that's not my thing. But that does happen a lot more than people think. It's really, really kept under the radar a lot. So seeing this pop up in the news in Australia, that doesn't really surprise me too much. I've been in Australia a couple of times, and women in Australia are very forward. They're very, very forward. I remember when I got there, is after I was living in the Middle East still. This is after the festivities of Desert Storm, Desert Shield, but before the festivities of Operation Restore Hope in Somalia, and so I took some R&R because I hadn't had any vacation time, and I went to Australia, Sydney, first time I went there, and walking through the airport. I got stopped and questioned because the security thought I was acting funny or whatever else, and so I got searched and everything else. I was just miserable. Right, that's after like a 16-hour flight. And it was just, I was in a foul mood, right? So I was getting off to a really bad start. A woman tried to pick me up in the airport, literally walking the airport. Oh, haven't we met before? I was like, I don't think we have. It's my first time coming. She gave me her phone number. So women in Australia are very, very forward. And so this doesn't surprise me. But let's keep going. Let's see what she has to say. Fair use.
So were you nervous the first time you and George met up?
By the time George and I first met up, no, not as much. And that is partially also because of George and his extremely easygoing, affable personality. It really is just hilariously funny. So he made me feel very comfortable. He was not my first. My first one had happened about a month before. And at that point, I was so nervous. My blood pressure was through the ceiling. I almost canceled twice. I had no one to talk to and just to even listen, to try to unpack, hey, it's okay to be nervous, et cetera, et cetera. So after I got through that first encounter with my wonderful companion, who I do still see, I decided that I was going to start an online business called ConsciousWomenHealing.com to be able to be there to help facilitate any kind of queries about anyone who wants to get perhaps back into the dating scene, or who thinks perhaps maybe they would like to see an escort. And I have this site out there now that will hopefully help with women making some of those decisions so they can feel empowered. Because this is about empowering. This is about healing. there is so much more to it than just the physical connection aspect.
Yeah, well said. So, Kate, George isn't the only male escort you interact with. You have a connection with, a current connection, is it with 4 others?
That is correct, yes.
Damn. All right.
And
See,
yeah,
okay.
give us a...
Let's draw comparisons. Okay, if they were talking about men hiring escorts, would they be as open and accepting? You guys let me know. Oh, while you're here, please hit like, subscribe, share, support the channel, help grow the community. Help us get to 2,000 followers or 2,000 subscribers. That'll be a really good goal. And it seems like a lofty goal right now. We're not at 1,500 yet, but I think we can get there. So fair use. So whenever you hear people talk about men hiring escorts, it's looked down upon. These guys are dirty, disgusting, desperate. They must be ugly, whatever. They just losers. Just so many different things you could call, so many different pejoratives. But if a woman does it, she's empowered. She's this, she's that, adventurous. She's living her best life, and she's healing on her journey, and all the rest, all the rest of this stuff. So, my point is, stop caring so much about what other people say about what you do. Do what you think is best for you, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Do what you got to do, but also to obey the laws here in Florida. You call an escort and you get caught in a sting or something like that, you're going to jail. You're going to be arrested. You might not be convicted. You might be convicted, but you're going to jail. Here, apparently, it's good to go. It's like the sugar baby thing. That's legalized sex work. Don't believe what anybody tells you. These young women are not going out with dudes who just want to go to dinner. Sorry. Ever since the advent of the little blue pills, even old dudes are able to still keep some lead in their pencil, if you know what I mean. All right, let's keep going.
Give us a sense of how that, what should we call it, Kyle's juggling act plays out.
Juggling.
It's actually not that difficult with juggling act. I have researched and followed my instincts very carefully with choosing the companions that I've chosen.
Companions.
They each bring something to me in many different aspects that I want in a companion, whether it's physical or connection, friendship, however that works out. And each of them has continued to be a blessing in my life.
George,
I have one companion.
Yeah, sorry.
I have one companion.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. George, it's interesting to say that she feels empowered. So, how much does it cost for a woman to feel empowered?
Yeah,
Yes.
look, as you alluded to before, my minimum booking where it involves sex is $1,200 for 2 hours.
Damn. George is balling out of control. Yo, man. Shout out to George. I don't know about the fashion choice. A Hawaiian shirt under a blazer, but whatever. Dude is getting paid $600 an hour to lay pipe. Obviously, he's doing better than me. George is $1,200 for a 2-hour engagement that involves intimacy.
Some of my other social services are much cheaper than that. When I say social, I mean just dating.
Like going out for a coffee or
picnic
companionship or whatever.
Absolutely.
Sliding scale.
So you quote.
Exactly, yes.
But if you
That's
want
really
the pipe,
clear on my
you gotta
website.
pay.
Yeah.
And so getting to know what the woman wants helps me determine what it is that's going to cost.
Okay, great. Was it awkward the first time to be paid money for sex?
It was, yes.
Was it? Yeah.
It's very different to dating. It's a transaction. So fundamentally...
Have you seen that great movie called Good Luck? Good luck to you, Leo Gray.
I have. It's an amazing film, and I think that's, talking about empowerment, that's exactly what that movie typifies.
It's a woman having to pay, a younger man in this case for sex after a long time with a former partner.
So do you think there's stereotypes in this business, George, that are incorrect and that you're kind of trying to rectify?
Look, in some ways, yes. So I'm not what people might think is your typical escort. So there is a lot of younger men who are super fit, who've got the gym body. That's not me. I sort of meet perhaps a different niche. And look, I think the thing is that it's not just about sex, as Kate puts out. It's fundamentally about providing a great service and making women feel empowered, comfortable, confident, and really ready to perhaps get out there again.
Okay, shout out to my man George. George is killing it. Okay, so a couple of things from this whole thing, all right, that you guys should take from this. Okay, so first and foremost, that happens. It's been happening for a very long time. Like I said, when I lived in LA, I had a bunch of buddies that we were all gym dudes, and that's the route they chose. My whole thing was I was doing the bodyguard thing, martial arts. I was in the gym every day, and so I kept myself in really good shape, and that's what I focused on. And my sailing, loved sailing, still love sailing. Still need to get another sailboat at some point. I will, and so. Does this happen? Does it still happen? Yeah, it still happens today. I know women now. Some of them married women married to very wealthy men. Some of them women who are independently wealthy, who have dudes that they pay for to spend a weekend with them or spend a night with them, and everything is very transactional. Now, here's what I will say that a lot of people don't understand: male escorts make more money than female escorts. Well, let me say it again. In most instances, not every instances, there are some women who make an extraordinary amount of money, right? But that's on the very, very upper echelon. That's not most women. You've got to be incredibly skinny. You've got to be in the right country, the right city, and you've got to have the right connections in order to make that kind of money. We'll talk about that at some other time. And so some of them can make an extraordinary amount of money, but for the most part, male escorts are getting paid more than female escorts. Female escorts, most of them aren't making $600 an hour. Most of them might be making $200 an hour, maybe $250 an hour, $300, $400 an hour at the upper end of things. Now, then you've got different tiers. Obviously, we're not talking about streetwalkers. We're talking about escorts, so that's a little bit more. But many of those are upgraded or up-jumped streetwalkers, so they're not going to make top-tier money. To make that top-tier money, you need so many things going for you. If you're a woman, you've got to have really good bone structure. You've got to have the right body type. You got to have the right demeanor, and you have to fit a certain look for those top tier guys who are willing to pay those extraordinary contracts. And I actually know a couple of women who are actually on contracts right now, and so yeah, I do rub shoulders with a huge variety of people. But I know women now who pay guys for what they want. And you know what? Fair enough. If that's your thing, if you want to make money doing that, go ahead and knock yourself out. I had a woman recently offer me an arrangement. Not my thing. I had to decline. But it does happen, guys. And so stop focusing so much on your looks. Focus on your looks. Do the best you can, is what I'm saying. But, there are things you can't control. You can control your weight. You can control your level of fitness. It's not easy, but you can. And gradually you can get where you want to be physical fitness wise. Your looks are your looks. Your face is what your face is, but you can maximize that by, your facial hair, your haircuts, and all the rest of these things. Women do all these things. There are women that will make themselves look prettier than they are by learning how to frame their face with their hair. They're contouring, makeup, so many different things to hide flaws. And so there are men who focus on that. I don't think you should have to. Focus on being strong. Focus on being fit for the sake of being fit. This guy, George, doesn't look super fit. He even said it. He's not a young guy. He's 51 years old, and dude is killing it. So it's not just about your physical appearance. A lot of it has to do with the vibe you put off, your confidence, and how you deal with people. There's a way to be charming. There's a way to be funny without coming across as being a creep. All right. So, the reason I bring that up is because, you see this stuff online where they're like, oh, you need to be 6 foot tall. And some women have this obsession with height. They'll be 5 foot 1 inch tall. And they'll, I need a man who's 6 foot or taller. It's like, I'd be quiet. They'll put that on social media, but they'll go out with a dude that's shorter than 6 foot tall. All right. So stop believing the hype. Do women like taller guys? Yeah, some women do. Some women don't. There are some women. I know a woman who's 6'3", and most guys aren't 6'3" or taller. And so she's dating a dude that's 5'8". And do they look a little bit different? Yeah, she's an Amazon. She used to play, sports, and 6'3". She's not really what you would call slim, although she's athletic. She's strong. She's not what you would call slim at all or slender. And he's a 5'8", maybe 5'9", maybe 5'8.5", kind of dad bod, kind of roly poly dude. And they seem to be happy. So stop looking at these limitations. This stuff does happen. Women do pay for it, and when they pay for it, they tend to pay very, very well. But if you're getting in that world, you're going to have to provide a superior service. I mean, in every single facet. They're not paying $600 an hour for you to fizzle out really quickly, if you understand what I'm saying. Anyway, it's your boy Private Eye Russ. I just thought this was a fascinating one to react to, just because I know people that do this. I know women. I know from both sides. I know men that provide that service. I know women that pay for that service. And the flip side, I know men that hire escorts, and I know women that provide that service. I did an interview recently with one of my an information source of mine gave me a tour of her upcoming playroom. She's a dominatrix, and some of the stuff she said was absolutely fascinating. I don't know if I'm actually going to put that video on the channel. There was nothing graphic shown or anything like that. Obviously, I wouldn't do anything like that. But just the subject matter, might not. Some people might be upset by it, and so I'm trying to grow the channel, not trying to kill it. So who knows? Maybe I'll set up like a members only section or something like that, and put it in that area there, just to keep myself safe. Anyway, please hit like, subscribe, share, help me grow the community. Join the Discord server. The links will be in the description below. Love you guys. Be safe. Love, peace, and hair grease. Bye.